Hello, um, how are you guys doing? Hope you guys are doing great. Hope you guys are doing fine. So we are back here again, continuation of our class. So here I'm gonna be talking about branding. I must have explained everything about logo branding, what logo is all about, the process of starting a logo, and I've sent the video to us. I'm sure by now you have must have um watched the video and you must have understood, have a good understanding of what you're actually doing. So the next process you are going to be embarking on now is the design process. Okay, the sketching. I've explained to you guys how you have to sketch, how you have to do your research on sketching, how you have to do your research on the mockups you are going to be using. So if you see my screen now, you will see the designs I've done. This is actually full branding. Okay, from the table of contents, the mood board, the colors you use, the font you use, you know, and the mission and vision of the mission, vision and values of the brand. All this you ask, you make sure this ones you be asking you ask your client about the mission and vision of the of his or her brand, and then with what the client gives you, you can use it to do your research on proper brief on how you can appropriate your brief with your design, on how you can do your research and sketch something great out of the brief. Okay, so don't forget that your design should be as simple as possible, because that's one of the elements about principles of designing a logo. Okay, your design should be as simple as possible, okay, so that when a client look at your what you design, the person will be able to understand what your brand is all about. Okay, so brand identity, as I said, it's an identity of a brand, what represent a brand. Okay, is different from a flyer, it's different from other things, but this one is just what represent a brand. And then we have other things that follows it, the branding guide, the full branding, the mock-ups, the presentation, and the rest of those things. So all those things are actually very, very important. Okay, and don't forget what I said, that when you are designing a logo, once you've done your sketching and you imported your sketch into your Illustrator to make to create it, don't forget that make sure you send to your client first of all the black and white before you start designing. Send to your client black and white, and let your clients understand the logo, the icon itself, if the icon is able to pass the message without the color. But if the client is kind of confused with the kind of color you use, the black and white, then you can actually put and use the color you wanted to use for the logo. Okay, because clients are different. Some clients, they don't understand some things, so you have to help them to understand it, because that is what you're actually doing. You are a problem solver, you are solving their problems. Okay, so you won't blame them if they don't understand a particular thing, so just make sure you are solving their problems. And once you are done with all of those things, you make sure you get your mockups ready. And don't forget what I say that you don't just go online and download any mockups and start using. The mockups you download are mockups that are related to the brand. Okay, that are related to the brand. So like this, if you look at my screen, this van that is here, not all company needs a van. Okay, not all company needs a van, so you have to understand the logo, the brand, the company that needs some of those things. And one of the ways that you can identify them easily is to identify a real company in the world, in a real world sense, a real company. So if you search for a real company in the real world sense, like a real estate company, and you look for a popular real estate company in the world and look how their brand is or what they do, they go through the social media, go through their site, and go through their pages and see how they represent. So with all these things, these are part of research, because when you are doing your research, you ought also need to do a real research, a real company, because any research, any company, any brand you want to start now, I'm very, very sure that someone else must have started it. So you have to do research on a real company to know exactly what they are or what you are up to. Okay, so that is it. I don't know, I'm sure there's nothing, no confusion again. But if at all there's a place where we are confused and we need clarity, you can actually send me a message. And I've sent videos on all of this, how the from the beginning, the the table of contents, the mood board, and the rest. So I'll see if I can do justice to that again. Let me go through them again. So this is actually how to do your branding work. Okay, so if you look at my table of contents, I have the brand number one and brand identity. So the brand is about the brand itself, about the company, so the company values, the company mission, the company vision. Do you understand? So with these are the things, some of the things your clients will give you. So when they give you this, you use some of these things to make your research and to understand properly what you are doing. And then the brand identity is what identify the brand, like the mock-ups, the colors, the icons, everything you use in the process of making the brand identity. So these are your brand identity. Okay, so you have to place them here. If you want to place them like this, okay, table of content, you start with them, so after you must have gotten the brief. As I always say, make sure you understand the brief your client gives you. If you don't, or if you do not understand the brief, you won't be able to do anything good. Okay, so you have to understand the brief very very well, understand what you are into, what you are going to, what you want to do, and make sure you ask questions, ask relevant questions to your clients. Okay, because the more you ask them questions, the more they are open to tell you more about their brand, and there are some information that will be given to you that will help you to focus your attention on your research. Do you understand? So make sure you ask them questions, ask them a lot of questions, reasonable ones, okay, to help you have a proper understanding. Because if you have a good understanding of what you are going into, then you can channel your focus on that thing and channel your research on that thing. Do you guys understand? Okay, so once you are done with all of this, what's it called, the brief is very very clear to you. You jump into your research, you start making researches, searching for other brands, popular brands that are into the same thing, probably. Now start looking for other big companies that do exactly what this company do or something similar, and start studying their logo, studying their icon, studying their brand to see what makes them different from each and every one of them. So with those things, you search a lot, you do your research a lot. So what you're actually doing is to get inspiration. So the more you stay online searching for that particular product, you read more, you understand more. Do you understand? So with that understanding, you can start getting your mood board, and your mood board, which are the images you get online, to help you sketch out something great. Okay, so once you are done with your mood board, you know that, okay, the next thing is, once you are done with your mood board and you are done with your sketching, you have sketch finished, the next thing is to import it into Adobe Illustrator. And once you import it into Adobe Illustrator, you start designing, you start sketching, you start designing, you start using your tools to design what you've sketched. Okay, so these are this process. So all these ones, the fonts you will use, the colors you will use, the mock-ups and every other thing, you ought to have done the research and got and go and get everything you want to get to make your design good, and then keep them one side. So when you are done with your logo sketching and your designing of the logo, so you can now continue with the rest process. Okay, so let's not forget, let's pay attention. Okay, so I feel like this is actually what I'm just trying to do here is just to bring us back to what we know already, because I've done a video on all of this, explaining everything about branding and everything. So I don't want to take much time again. Okay, so this is going to be it. So the next video I'm going to do, will start designing. Okay, so I'm going to be showing you how you can use your tools, Adobe Illustrator tools, to make good designs. Okay, so see you guys in the next video, and don't forget to ask your questions. If there's any area you don't understand, please make sure you ask questions.